this lesson, you'll learn how to play Just Breathe using either one or two beautiful finger picking patterns. Now I'll be using my tenor with low G tuning throughout the lesson, but feel free to follow along with high G tuning as well. Now let's begin by jumping right into our two finger picking patterns. Pattern 1 uses only 3 strings, strings 4, 3, and 2. Here's how this pattern sounds played at a slow tempo on a C chord. And since we're not using the first string in this pattern, we can leave all strings open. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at a faster tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To pick this pattern, we'll use our thumb, index finger, and middle finger on strings 4, 3, and 2. We'll start on the 3rd string, then up to the 4th string, down to the 2nd string, back to the 4th string, and we end on the 3rd string. Pattern 2 has the same rhythm as pattern 1. Here's how pattern 2 sounds at a slow tempo on a C chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at a faster tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To pick this pattern, we'll use our thumb, index finger, middle finger, and ring finger on strings 4 down to 1. We'll start on the 2nd string, then go to the 4th string, down to the 1st string, back to the 4th string, and we'll finish on the 3rd string. The easier way to fingerpick this song is to use only pattern 1, one time on each chord. But for this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use both pattern 1 and pattern 2. We'll use pattern 1 on the chords in standard font and pattern 2 on the chords in bold. Now let's take a look at the chord progression in line 1 of the first verse. This chord progression repeats many times throughout the song. We're going to start on a C chord with pattern 1. Then we're going to a C5 chord. For this chord, we'll place down our middle finger and ring finger on the 3rd fret of strings 2 and 1. Now this chord is in bold, so we'll play pattern 2. Then going to a C chord next, we'll lift up our middle finger, keeping our ring finger in place, and here we'll play pattern 2 again. And then back to C5. And now we're going to a G chord. Now since we're going back to pattern 1, we're not playing the 1st string. So we're going to keep our middle finger in place, and we'll place down our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Now we have an E minor chord. We're going to place down our ring finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and we'll keep our index finger in place because we're going to go back to G. So we have E minor on pattern 1, and then back to G, and then we have one more G chord to finish this chord progression. Now let's count the rhythm of line 1 at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, you an intermediate option for the G chord at the end of the line. Here, instead of playing pattern 1, we can play the 4th fret of the 4th string using our ring finger, and then the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, where our index finger is still in place from our G chord. So here's how it sounds using this intermediate option at the end of the line. Now you'll hear these two notes played many times throughout the recordings of this song, and they add a nice lead-in to the next line. So feel free to use them in place of the G chords at the end of the lines. Now for the easier version, if we stick with pattern 1 one time on each chord, here's how this will sound. Repeat this chord progression 3 more times in verse 1, and then we move into our chorus. Here we're going to an A minor chord with our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. We're going to play pattern 1 4 times in line 1, and then in line 2 we go to an F chord. So we'll keep our middle finger in place, and we'll add our index finger to the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And now we'll play pattern 1 4 times on F. And next, moving into the interlude and the 2nd verse, we'll repeat the same chord progression that we looked at in verse 1. If you're enjoying this lesson, please show my channel some love by giving this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Lara. I'm a musician and a composer, and I love to teach song tutorials and fingerstyle arrangements for all levels. If you'd like to support my teaching and my channel by joining my Patreon community, you'll gain access to hundreds of downloads, including song sheets, fingerstyle tabs, and song books. The link is down below in the video description. We have one more section left to take a look at, and that is the bridge. We move into the bridge from an F chord at the end of the 2nd chorus. Now to start the bridge, we have a G chord using pattern 1. So here we're not using the 1st string. To make for easier chord transitions back and forth between G and D minor 7, we're going to place our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Here I also still have my index finger in place on the 1st fret of the 2nd string to make it easier to go back and forth between these two chords. So starting on G, to go to D minor 7, I'm going to lift up my pinky and place down my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So for lines 1 and 2 of the bridge, our index finger and ring finger will stay in place. And then going back and forth between our G and D minor 7 chords, we'll use our pinky and then we'll use our middle finger. So here's how this looks at a slow tempo to play lines 1 and 2 of the bridge using pattern 1. The bridge, in lines 3, 4, and 5, all of the chords appear in bold, so we're going to use pattern 2. In line 3, we begin with 2 F chords, and then 2 A minor chords, so we'll lift up our index finger, keeping our middle finger in place, go back to F for one pattern, then to a C chord for one pattern, and now we're going to form our full G chord. Here we have our index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. We'll play our pattern twice on G to finish line 4, and then twice on G in line 5 to complete the bridge. Next, we're moving into our play along, where you can play and sing the entire song along with me. Now, I'll be using patterns 1 and 2, just as we've covered in this lesson. But for an easier version, you can stick with pattern 1 for the entire song. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I understand that every life must end as we sit alone. I know someday we must go on. Oh, I'm a lucky man to count on both hands the ones I love. Some folks just have one, yeah, others they got none. Stay with me, let's just breathe. Practice all my sins, never gonna let me win. Under everything, just another human being. Yeah, I don't wanna hurt. There's so much in this world to make me bleed. Stay with me, you're all I see. Did I say that I need you? Did I say that I want you? Oh, if I didn't, I'm a fool. You see, no one knows this more than me. As I come clean, I wonder every day as I look upon your face. Everything you gave and nothing you would take. Oh no, nothing you would take. Everything you gave. Did I say that I need you? Oh, did I say that I want you? Oh, if I didn't, I'm a fool. You see, no one knows this more than me. As I come clean. Nothing you would take, everything you gave. Hold me till I die, meet you on the other side. I hope you've enjoyed learning Just Breathe using these beautiful patterns. Have fun practicing, and thanks for watching.